We're on the finishing stages of this one now. I just forgot to put these in. So that's just the little retaining straps. They've got to go in first, one on each side. There we go. Rest that back in for a minute. I haven't tightened it up quite yet. Seems to want to tighten itself up anyway by the looks of it. Yes, I've pushed that a little bit too far in. There we go. Yeah, they've got to slide in the little grooves, these, otherwise they won't fit. There we go. So got a little bit of wiring to do. Just for the power supply plug here. Going to tin the wires first. So I've taken some pictures of where they go, if I can find them. So that's a black lead at the top, one on his own. I think what I'll do first is I'll just clean the old flux off of this anyway. You don't need to really see me soldering that back on, I'm sure. Okay, that's the wiring for the power supply jack, and that power supply jack is only available on the later Roberts or 707s. So if you've got a 707 and you haven't got that power jack, then unfortunately you're not going to be able to plug it into the mains unless you copy the wiring, I suppose. So yeah, it's green. Green is a negative as well, I believe. Black and the reds go on the centre. So this is centre pin positive on this one, which is unusual. It's obviously Roberts in their later sets always had centre pin negative, but this set, I've just tested it, it's definitely centre pin positive. And I just connect it to the power supply just to prove that it works. Let's say you've got a jack in the side. Let's get you down a little bit. You've got a jack in the side of this one. So I'm just using my sort of like rigged up one to my power supply. Pop it in the side. Power on.
That is up there with one of the most obvious, surely.
It's classic. Tweet there from a Mr. Drew Peacock, like the bird. Drew.
Pretty good with no aerial up, but
hospital beds, that will have a direct effect
sure
upon
we
the
put the aerial up, it'll
more backing up of ambulances, more delayed discharges. You have to remember a figure. 3% of the patients admitted in our health service take up 70% of the bed days. That has to be tackled, and you don't tackle it by closing a bed which you can send a patient to, often rapidly, where there are skilled people to look after them.
There we go. So it's working on the power supply, so we know that's good. Before I finally put it back together, I've taken a couple of these 6 volt, what do they call these? This says 4 R25R. Yeah, that's a more common one. PJ996. These are just a couple ones I got knocking about that I've had in my other set. Gotta try and remember which way they go in now. It's tricky getting these in actually. So it's not that way, it's got to be that way. So again, you've got to tilt the set back to get these in, because otherwise you won't get them past the door. Let's see, that's wrong already. There we go. There's one like that. And with the other one, same again. Let's make 100% sure that works.
You know, what we clearly need to see is...
So working on bench supply and battery. There we are. Right, so I can wrap it up now. I can start screwing it all back together, get these knobs cleaned up and back in. So that's popping back down into his casing. There we go. So I've got my dirty finger marks on the top panel, so I've got to clean that off. So 3 screws in underneath. Where's my little pot of bits for this one? So 2 main screws in the aerial screw. Well, I'm going to pinch another aerial screw out of another one, because that one had been cross-threaded, I think, and pretty chewed up. So I'd say I've got quite a few of these sets. So I'm sure at some stage I'll find another one. And there's one other issue that I found, and that is there is some wear on this spindle. Someone's been using a knob on it and it has worn the spindle a little bit. So to compensate for that, I've made a little tiny brass shim. So I'm going to pop that in with the knob, and that should sort it. I mean, the knobs aren't perfect on this one. There's a little bit of a dent on the top of the brights on them, but you know, they are very good for one of these. These are normally a lot worse state than that. And the tone control ones are pretty much perfect. So just a case of a little bit of brasso in the tops to clean these. I think what I'll probably do to start with is just pop them in the pop them in some soapy water. I will have a look, see if I've got any better ones than this. Right, the knobs are all cleaned. I have had a look, I haven't really got any better ones than this. There's very little corrosion on these, and some of the other ones have got quite badly corroded, so this is about as good as it gets. I just need to blow the moisture out of these. Don't want them rusting. Come on. A tight fit. The right way around, yeah. Better to be a tight fit than too loose. You notice on the 707, one is a D and one is round. This is the one. I really don't know why they didn't put a square, a D-shaped one on there, because they're a pain in the neck. So I wouldn't push these right on because it'll scratch the case. Just pull them off a fraction. There we go. Right, I need to find my little bit of shim material. Right, so this is my little bit of brass. So I'm just going to drop that in there. I'm going to get a screwdriver and just shape it slightly. So as it is slightly dished. Aha. That's got it. Brilliant. Phew. That is about it. I've got a big pile of capacitors here as well that I wanted to test that I took out of this radio. Try the biggie first then. 680 microfarads, 16 volts. Again, one thing this doesn't test them for is leakage, so even though you might get some good results on the ESR tester, they might still be leaky. Let's get you a little bit closer. See the display. Okay. So he's reading 770, so just under 100 microfarads high. So this was a 470 at 10 volts now. Whoa, that was a fair way out. 605. Yeah, that was a fair way out, that one. So that one had to be changed. What have we got? That's the other one from the module. I think this is a module 1. Yeah, this is a little 2.5 microfarad. .67, a fairly high ESR on that, 4.4. Yeah, maybe that's not so good. But I have put some good quality Nichicons in there now, and I think I will do that in all future modules because they do fit quite nicely. So another 2.5, reading 3, again at ESR of 4. And the other one I changed was this one. There's a big lump missing off of the side of it. You can see it's in pretty poor shape. So there's a big chunk missing off this side which fell off when I took it out of circuit. But it was reading okay on the capacitance meter. Slightly high I think, but it was fine. But yeah, not worth leaving in because the moisture will get in there and eventually that'll pack up. So yeah, that's the electrolytics. So they'll all go back to the new owner. I'm sure he'll find a good bin to put those in, but yeah, a lot of capacitors in that. Right, I'm going to get on and clean the top panel out. It does look pretty clean anyway, just there's a load of finger marks on it. I'm going to polish the Rexine front and back. Then it's going down for a photo session, so I'll add some photos in at the end. You can see there that I've got most of the dings out of the grill. It's looking really good now. As I say, this is the best R707 here at the moment. It's better than all of mine. The one I refurbished recently, yeah, it probably is. It's better than that. It's got the nicer Rexine on this one. So if you look at my one I restored a while back, you can see it's got a softer grain Rexine on this one. If you can actually see that there. Yeah, it's got a softer grain Rexine and the grill's a bit bashed up on this one. Dusty now, look. Yeah, you can see it's a much smoother Rexine on this one. So that's my own. Again, the handle is much nicer on this one. It's it's absolutely, well, I'm not going to try cleaning it, because if you try cleaning these, the dirt will go into the stitching. So yeah, dirt will go into the stitching if you try cleaning it. So I'm going to give it a polish up, then I say photo shoot, and off to its new owner in France. Okay, I thought I'd bring you in for a bit of a finale on this one. I've cleaned it all up. You can see now it's absolutely gleaming. I've polished the Rexine on it. The sides have got some polish on. Just notice a bit I've missed there. Look. Yeah, sides have got Danish oil, so they're really sparkling. I mean, that really is a cracking R707. I say, there's a fine line between collecting them and selling them, really. You know, this one is pretty close to keeping, but say it's all paid for. Off to France, and what I thought we'd do is we'd give it a final try out on all the bands, just to make sure that everything's working. So let's pop the power supply in for now. We'll start off on VHF FM. Aerial, again, that's all been lubricated. WD-40 is my preferred method for that. Works well. Let's get my, turn around a little bit. There we go. So let's pop it on.
Talks to fellow fans of Miles Davis.
The first album I think I heard is Miles Ahead, and every moment is just like a gem.
So that's
it always goes back to Miles
flat
to me, and
bass and flat treble.
Miles. It's almost not about
turn the treble up.
Laura and Vulla's Miles Davis. This Saturday
Really good
afternoon
treble
at
on these.
3:30 on BBC Radio 4.
Up the
BBC News at 2 o'clock. At least 6 British tourists, including an infant, have been killed in a minibus accident in Saudi Arabia.
He's whipping his orchestra up to a level of hysteria, although it is an emotion inherent in the story of Hamid, as we shall hear. So it's called a reform opera because Gluck was the composer who dared to change things.
5 days in Mecca as part of a pilgrimage. They were on their way to Medina when the accident happened. At least 3 people are dead and around 30 are missing after an avalanche struck a hotel in the Italian region of both the world.
In a speech,
distracted into sort of political arguments that take us down the wrong track. Let's just keep focusing on nurturing the workforce, making sure we're delivering the best care, on prevention and public health, and not forgetting things like mental health and children and young people.
Is Heart from Global.
Afternoon, I'm Matt Wilkinson, turning up the feel good while you work with your chance to win cash.
If it all goes wrong.
The suitcase has been remanded in custody. Kiran Daudia was discovered in an alleyway in Leicester on Tuesday morning. Ash went up in a week. David Halpin. Tonight for the debate. That starts at 6:30 and live on Facebook as well.
So have aligned the dial on this one as well. I popped the signal generator in at 188 and it's absolutely bang on. It wasn't, I've tweaked it a little bit, but didn't need a lot doing to it, to be fair. So let's try shortwave. We'll try it without any long wire to start with. I have got my power line adapter back on, which is a bit of a pain, but not a lot there on shortwave. Medium wave. Long wave. Yeah, I'm going to have to turn a few things off, I think. That one for starters, it's got to come out. That one. Bear with me. Okay, let's try again. Now, believe it or not, that was actually the reason medium wave, long wave and short wave wasn't working was because of the FM switch. Baffles me. Anyway, I've cleaned it, and long wave.
My balls, and it's been slashed away by Morgan over back to the point. It's going to be, or it should be, and no chance.
There's a few things interfering with this. One is this light.
And this is it's just exceptional.
Listen to this.
Yeah. The England captain, it's 36 and for 15.
It is exceptional batting, but they haven't got the field right.
See,
here.
perfect. No light, bang on.
Balls outside off stump full, like he did there, which I think was the right ball to bowl. He needs more protection on the offside.
That's on long wave, amazing.
Avec le thermo gourmet, il est possible de faire un repas complet avec un seul appareil. Quel genre de robot vous voulez chez vous
Medium wave.
Prices as low as £42. No wonder we've been ranked the UK's top airline on TripAdvisor. And with the only airline awarded which recommended provider. And new from this spring, you can go direct. X-Ray Point will help you start 2017 with a 5-star luxury golf trip for
Sorry about the lack of light, just the light from outside now.
Make a purchase in store before the
But
29th of
at least we
January.
can test it properly.
Throughout the day, every day, attention builds from the countdown.
VHF.
A hybrid Nero or
Aerial's
a
not
luxurious
up, but,
7-seat Sorrento. So,
Rewarding that. Move to debit. And by 2007.
Shortwave then. Let's try
I should apply for a job account, I think. I know in Uganda there's at least 5 changes.
the shortwave is working. Let's take the long wire off. You can still hear that. Let's put the aerial up. So that's working on the telescopic, which is quite nice. Oh, well, I'm relieved at that, I must admit. Let's put some light back on. I say, I thought LED lighting didn't interfere with that radio, but it doesn't. But the power supply to it does. You can't win, can you? Anyway, that's pretty much it. That one is now, again, ready to go back. Well, not go back, to go to its new owner. So I'm going to get this boxed up, and it's on its way. So hope you enjoyed that. As I say, it's been a bit of a longer refurb than I wanted, really, because of the fact that the module decided it was going to play up. So anyway, all done. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Plenty more videos to come. Bye for now.